Just waiting for some people to come on now. Come on.
Shine our light. Is anybody with us? 2.
Hi. 5.
Keep going. 6. 9.
Oh, climbing. Keep climbing.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to watch the numbers rise. 10. Keep going. Let's get a couple more and we'll start. Hi, Sheila.
Hi, Sheila.
15. Liking it. Evening, Paul from Manxman and Steph. Hello, good evening, Manxman and Steph. How you doing? Craig. Hey, Craig.
Hi, Craig.
How are you this evening? Good, I hope. Hello, Claire. How are you doing? We're well, thank you. Hi, Trish.
Hi, Trish.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Hi, Claire.
Hope you've had a good one, Trish. Still sober. So, how are we all doing on this Sunday evening with the lockdown continuing? Hi, Christine. We've been out in the garden today doing a few jobs. This is why I'm glowing at the moment, red.
Red.
Hi, Craig. Yeah, got red cheeks, red head. Me and the sun don't get on very well, so slightly hot at the moment. So it's not a fever, don't worry, you don't have to worry about the social distancing thing here. It's not the virus. Hello, Wendy. Hi, Sean, and hello, Martin. How are we all tonight? So, we had a few little stories last week, some of the stuff that I've experienced on my journey. Hi, Simon. I thought I'd tell you about a couple of home visits that I did a few years ago. The first one was in Macclesfield. Hi, Lee. Hi, Wendy. The first one was in Macclesfield. My sister is a mechanical engineer, and she was chatting to one of her work colleagues who just happened to mention that his daughter had just moved into a house in Macclesfield. Thought you'd topped up the gas.
Candlelight.
Yeah, Joanne. Hi, Joanne. Just watching your Halloween special on Pluto.
Oh.
It's a nice planet, Pluto. Hi, Chris. Hi, Kerry. So her work colleague was just explaining that his daughter had just moved into this house in Macclesfield, and they were experiencing some weird stuff. She'd moved in, single mother, 2 kids, and all sorts of things were happening. She suffered from MS, but she was in a controlled state with it when she moved in, but not long after her health started to decline. The kids were having nightmares, seeing things, hearing things. She was being touched while she was in bed. The sheets had been dragged off her in bed, and she didn't know who to turn to, and she was literally reaching out for loads of people. She got in touch with mediums. She had 3 mediums go round. They were terrified, they couldn't deal with it. She had 2 priests go round to do a blessing. They ran from the house. They were absolutely terrified and would refuse point blank. Shine a light. Hi, Chris. Refuse point blank.
Hi, Wendy.
To go back to this house. She was on the phone to another medium who had been highly recommended by a friend of hers, because apparently he'd been on TV, and he apparently during this phone conversation heard somebody say down the phone, "If you come here, I'll effing kill you." Well, it wasn't her. It was somebody.
Hi, Bex.
Possibly the person that was haunting this house. Hi, Bex. So she was at a wit's end, and I was asked to go and have a look. So me and my sister went up one Friday night, and I can't say that there was anything untoward. Didn't feel like there was anything there. Hi, Nat, watching from Bolton. How you doing? Hey, Bex. The house felt absolutely fine when I walked in. It didn't feel like there was anything going on. But I sat down with the young lady. I was having a chat, recording the interview. She had a friend round with her, who was he had ulterior motives, but we won't go into that. But he was very much full of himself. And I'm listening to what she's telling me. The kids, everybody was sleeping downstairs by now because they were terrified of going upstairs. The kids were just absolutely scared, shiner lightless, to go up and sleep upstairs. So they'd all set up cots downstairs in the living room, so they were all staying there at night. Things were still happening. From what I'd been told to when I got there, more had happened. She'd now it got to the point where she was having her hair pulled, she was being pushed, even to the point where she said it sounded like somebody spat at her, but there wasn't anything. You get that sort of noise, somebody spitting at you, but obviously there wasn't anything, no ectoplasm or anything like that was hit her. Hi Sean Gould, how you doing, mate? Long time no see. So I spent about an hour having a chat with her.
Hi, Chris.
And then said,
Hi, Mike.
can we have a look round the house? Got a few gadgets out, had a look round, and again felt absolutely fine. But the one thing that seemed to be reoccurring while she was talking to me was everything seemed to happen when people were in a vulnerable state or susceptible. By this I mean they were either asleep or they had the backs turned. Nothing ever happened where it was sort of face to face. And the priests, the mediums, this guy that was there with her, they were all convinced that this was something demonic. Now, for me, it takes a leap to go into the demon side of things. They're not as prevalent, I don't think. I'm not saying they don't exist. I have encountered something, but it's not like the sort of situation where you watch some paranormal programs and everything's demonic. This didn't feel demonic. To me, it personally felt like it was a coward. Whoever it was a coward. Whoever it was a bully, because he was always waiting till they had the back turned. They were asleep, whatever. It was always when they weren't in a position to kind of face whatever it was. And I hate bullies. Absolutely hate bullies with a passion. And I'm sure a lot of people here probably do as well. So from my point of view, I thought it was best to try and get this young lady to have some strength to stand up to this bully. So I talked her through the protection routine that I do, showed her how to do it, gave her some confidence, built her up to be, a bit more of a fighter against this, because at the end of the day, I think whoever or whatever it was that was in this house may have lived there previous, but right now it was her home, it was her family's home, it was her sanctuary. This didn't have any place to be there, and it was time to sort of put a foot down and say, enough's enough, it's my home, you've got to go. So spent about 3 hours there altogether. She was feeling more positive, more buzzed from this. And how about my money in my wallet?
Yeah, it says he was saying
Sorry.
money keeps going out of his wallet and it's not his wife's.
Right.
Missy says, I think it might be...
I can tell you that it's called Bill. Actually, bills. You got to pay them. So spent about 3 hours, built her up, and we left. But the plan was to go back the following week. I was going to take more equipment. I can move things on. I've got the ability to be able to move things on from people's homes. But what I wanted to do first, I said, I'll move it on, promise you that. But I want to investigate it first. I want to try and get some evidence, because obviously make a case from it. So can ghosts take things? Yes, they can.
Yep.
Yes, they can. So that was the plan. Go back the following Friday, tooled up, ready to do some battle. So we left, and I came home. I'd been in a couple of minutes, and I was just facing the front window, looking down at my phone, and the next thing, the hairs on the back of my neck raised. The room went freezing cold, and I knew instantly that I had company. Now, there's nothing here. This place isn't haunted, so I knew straight away that he'd come home with me, which was brilliant for me.
Hi, Wendy. Hi, Steph.
Not so much for him. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Steph. Because I've got some pretty hefty protection, not just what I do, but I've got somebody that looks after me as well. And it was a huge mistake to kind of set foot into here. And again, doing it while I had my back turned. So the theme was the same. He was coming and he was going to do something while I had my back turned. Anyway, long story short, the person that looks after me took him. So he didn't even get back. Are you guys from Charlotte? No, we're from the UK, mate. Matt. He was taken off to wherever. And shout out to Dan Gleeballs working for the NHS. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
You're doing a great job, thank you.
Fantastic.
Hi,
Bobby.
Hi, Bobby. So he was taken off. I spoke to my sister the next day. Are you being serious about my wallet?
No, I was being serious.
Oh, I was being serious about my wallet. Sorry, I know. I try to inject humour, but yes, things can go missing. I'll talk to you about it in a minute, Mike. So I spoke to my sister the next day and told her what had happened, and I said, give it a couple of days. I wanted to just give this woman a bell and see how she is. I didn't have a number, and just see how things are. So a few days later, she rang, asked how things were. She said, "Brilliant. House feels totally different. Atmosphere's changed. It's all good." So we stuck to. So how come you're a pair of charlatans? The charlatans were a good group in the 90s, I think. So we went the following Friday as we were supposed to. I didn't bother taking anything with me because I already knew there wasn't going to be anything there to investigate. But we sat down, had a chat with the young lady. The guy that was had ulterior motives, he was there as well, looking a little bit sort of sheepish because he'd also tried to do something to move this chap on. But she was saying she was sleeping better. In that week, her health had just gone so much better. The kids felt, like everything was calm. Everybody was sleeping back where they should, and job was done. And it was probably one of the more really interesting situations I'd been involved in, and it was really quite nice to help somebody, especially when so many other people have been saying that it was demonic, and it wasn't. It was a bully just trying to come across as something like that. So the other house visit I was asked to get involved in was one in Liverpool, and another group that I'd been kind of mentoring had been called to go and help this family that had been experiencing some pretty horrific stuff. Again, was a male spirit that had been picking mainly on the wife and the children. Never done anything to the husband, and he got to the point he didn't believe anything that was happening, but he actually left. He left the family, so he left them there to deal with it. So this group had asked if I could give them any advice. Hello, yeah.
Hi,
Will,
Dan.
hi, Dan again. This group had been called out to go and see what they could do. So I gave them a little bit of advice, because without being there, it's hard to really deal with something. But from what I've been told, I gave them some suggestions on what to do, and they went along one weekend. And midweek, I think it was a Friday night they went. The following Wednesday, I'd got a phone call because the woman from Liverpool had been in touch saying everything was 10 times worse. So I was asked if I'd go and see what I could do, and I was happy to do so. So when we got there, the woman that the mother was there, the wife, she'd sent the kids off. So she was literally the only one in the house, and she told me what was going on. Again, it was hair pulling, but this was a lot worse because she was actually hearing voices. She was, somebody was in her ear calling her absolutely vile names, just very derogatory, very disrespectful, horrible names. One of the kids had been dragged out of bed, and another one was just having terrible nightmares. But this woman was like that when we went round. So I said, don't worry, we'll see what's going on. So I managed to kind of get this thing. I knew exactly where he was, because on this occasion when I walked into the house, I could feel it. You could just feel straight away that there was an atmosphere in there. So I managed to kind of coax this fella into a room, and then I sealed the doorway so he couldn't get back out. And I went in there and I did an EVP session, and I got some cracking EVPs. Asked, do you know you're dead? Very aggressively, yes. Do you want to go? No, I effing don't. And this is all EVP stuff, fantastic stuff. I've got the recorder somewhere, but finding it's another matter. But I got some of the best EVPs, and this was intelligent, and it knew, he was dead.
Hi, Mari.
Vari, is it?
Is it Vari?
Vari, I think, yeah.
Hi, Vari.
How are you doing? Danny, how are you doing? Are you? Yes, no, Danny, I'm not, I'm afraid. Don't say it, because it's not what you think. So yeah, we managed to trap this thing into one of the rooms, and I got everybody in there that was involved, including the lady that lived in the house, and we did a séance, and managed to kind of force him into an area where I had a crystal. And if you've seen the Black Horse episode that we did in Kent, that's the very same crystal. I managed to trap him into this crystal, and I still have him to this day. But at the end of all this, again, we left. A couple of days later, got a follow-up phone call. How is everything? Everything was absolutely fine. The house was calmer. The kids were sleeping. She wasn't being traumatised. Her nerves were starting to settle. And the husband came back. So, for somebody that didn't believe in it, he wasn't prepared to actually stand by his family and face it. But, not having a pop at him.
We've just got a question here.
Yeah.
What do you guys? What got you guys into ghost hunting? Right. Well, Paul, I'll let you answer that first.
Well, no, I'll let you, because I've already heard my.
I got into ghost hunting when I met Paul. It's 5 years ago now.
Yeah.
Yeah. He took me to a haunted mill, and I got hooked straight away. I was terrified at first, but then after that,
Great first date, wasn't it?
It was a great first date, yeah.
First dates go.
Yeah. Big haunted mill. Walk round a big haunted mill at night. First date.
I'm terrified at first, weren't you?
I was terrified at first, and then.
And now, she'll go off in a dark room with a camera, and you won't see her for an hour or so.
I'm fine.
Hardcore.
Hardcore.
So yeah, that's how Jane got into it, and yeah, I've been sort of getting nudged on and off this path most of my life since I saw my nan when I was 11 after she'd passed, 2 weeks after she passed. So yeah.
Any more now? Let's just scroll down a little bit. Let's have a look.
I was watching Old Bess last night when you were in the cellar. You turned when you heard a noise. When you panned, you could clearly see
the Foster's barrel cat
flying and bounced. I don't know if you picked it up on edit. Looks good evidence, very good investigation.
Thank you.
I don't know if I saw it, to be honest. You see, I need to explain something about the cameras. When you're in a dark room and you've got night vision, the screen is about that big. So everything that you're seeing is in green, and that's all you're seeing, and you can't really judge the distance between things. And sometimes I'm not always looking at the screen. I'll be moving the camera around, but my head might be somewhere else looking at something.
Sometimes you can't see it though, can you?
No. So, you're looking through that little screen and trying to get your eyes to adjust, because if you're in a pitch black room, you'll know your eyes do adjust after a little while, and you'll be able to sort of make things out. But when you've got a screen that's got light coming at you, and then you move away, your night vision's screwed. So it's it's not always easy to do. But the other thing that I wanted to pick up on as well was sometimes we hear things, and although the microphones.
Boris Johnson has been admitted to hospital.
Oh, bloody hell.
Lee? Oh,
thanks for that. Lee's just our broadcaster for Sky News there.
Yeah.
So Boris Johnson's just been admitted to hospital. Bloody hell.
Wow.
That's serious, isn't it? Yeah, the microphones on the cameras are really sensitive, but they don't always hear what we hear. In fact, the best way that I can give you an analogy of how it works, if you're in a crowded room across from somebody having a conversation, you can hear that person because you're concentrating, you're hearing. So directionally, you'll be able to have that conversation. But in a crowded room, the camera doesn't differentiate. You will get everybody because it won't just focus on that one particular person. Unless they've got a lapel mic on or something. If it's just a camera, you'll get all of that sound. So sometimes we're hearing stuff and sadly the mics don't always pick it up. And it's very frustrating for us because obviously we're saying, you know, I hope you heard that, did you hear that? And you don't always get it, but all I can say is we heard it, you know, and it's very frustrating when we can't share that. Obviously sometimes you do because you pick up stuff that we don't, which is great. We've had a few that have been watching some of these unseen bits and saying, did you notice at such a time something happened? You know, we don't always see everything, so it's great that you let us know what we've missed, so thank you for that.
What's that one? Never realised.
No, she's my carer.
Yeah, that's more like it, Lee. I'm his carer.
She is.
Are these people Ghostbusters? No, we're Ghost Dimension.
Can you speak to the ghost of Carol Baskin's husband who's somewhere on a tiger, possibly? I'll let you know when I become a medium for that one. Paul, you got any planes to come to Medway? Plans. I wish we had a plane because it'd be a hell of a lot easier. All I can say, Martin, is we've got tons of plans. We just don't have the cash to back it up. You know, if one of us, if we all won the lottery, one of us won the lottery, we'd be taking the whole group all over the world. So, you know, it's, we'd love to.
Lee's asked, where do you guys buy your equipment from online? Oh, good question, Lee. Good question.
Do you want to answer that one?
I'll let Paul answer that one because he knows a lot more about the equipment than I do. I'm just
hi, Nikki.
Camera.
A lot of my kit comes off eBay. I love eBay. I probably should have shares in the company considering how much I've spent buying stuff. But I've also bought stuff from Tim Brown from Pigs, UK Ghost Store. He has a lot of good stuff. Some of the stuff that you see on the show you can't get now. There's a company in Australia called Apparition Technologies which make the REMs, which in my opinion are probably some of the best REMs that have ever come on the market, and sadly he doesn't make them anymore. See you, Shane. Stay safe, mate.
Bye, Shane.
So yeah, a lot of the stuff comes from there. There's also Paranologies. Some of their kit's very good, but they're in the States, and if you're buying to ship over here, just remember customs. Customs will stick a whack on. I bought a few bits from the States and got quite a pleasant surprise when I've been hit with a customs bill. So you can't have the stuff until you paid it. There is another guy called Alan Whitmore who's in the States, and he makes some amazing pieces of kit. He's done different variations on the REM pods. Come your messages late after when we can have a proper chat. We'll do it tomorrow, Martin, because once we finish this we've got something else to do, but we'll drop you a message tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely.
So Alan Whitmore, I can't remember what his company's called, but if you just put Alan Whitmore into Facebook you'll find him. That's where I get most of my kit from. Any other questions, keep them coming. See if we've missed anything up here. Shock about Boris, though, isn't it?
No, just a bit, yeah. We knew he had it and he tested positive for it, but we didn't know. Yeah. We thought he was actually getting over it, so...
Have you guys...
Maybe he should put us all on lockdown properly now, instead of messing around.
Have you actually seen any ghosts? As I said last week, I saw Spirit of my Nan. One thing that I have done, which I might be the only person that's ever done this, is made a ghost jump. The story behind that is there's a place called Worsley Old Hall in Worsley, massive restaurant. It's an old hall that's been converted. We had the pleasure of investigating it for quite a few months, a few years ago, and the top floor I mean, the whole place was amazing, but the top floor had the old servants' quarters, and a group of us were in one of the rooms, and I'd forgotten to bring a piece of kit, so I was just going to go back to where we'd set up base to go and get it, and I turned the corridor, and there was a young girl dressed in black and white, you know, the old servants kind of black and white, and I went, oh, and she went, oh, and just vanished. And it's one of those times when I wished I had one of those head cameras, because I might have caught it, but I saw her jump at the same time that I jumped, and that's, you know, she obviously wasn't a ghost, more of a spirit. The difference between a ghost and a spirit, I think I explained last week. Ghost is a recording, you can't interact, there's no intelligence behind it, it's just a replay of something that went on however long ago, and a spirit has got the intelligence behind it and can interact, and she was obviously aware of me, and jumped. The Sani has been taken for tests, so we don't know what's going on with Boris.
Oh dear.
Wow. Well said, Jane, we should have full lockdown. Yes, we should.
Yeah, we should. We need to stop this spread. You know, we all need to see our loved ones. You know, be nice to have a hug with your mum, your dad, your sisters, your brothers. So,
absolutely,
all stay at home. We need this over.
Just trying to get this to
over
go
as soon as possible.
I've got the same problem. Go on. Yeah, there we go. Just going to read this one out. It's
is it?
It's Vari.
Vari.
Just going to answer that one actually first. Best.
Yeah.
Oh, go on, do it. Jane's got this magic. There you go. Finger. Lee first. The best form of technology, I believe, is yourself. Your own senses when you're in a dark room and you can't see.
Definitely.
Your other senses are heightened.
I totally agree there with you, Lee. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Your eyes, your ears are your best senses.
But the only problem is, whatever you experience, then it's a personal experience, because you haven't got anything to back it up evidentially.
I don't mind a personal experience.
No, that's fine. I'm just saying, you know, if you want to try and present it.
Well, if you want to show it to people, you've got to have the hard evidence. I totally understand that.
Everything that I'm telling you about my experiences right now, they are personal experiences. But if I brought video and audio to the table, I can back it all up.
Yeah.
So, my son's making friends with our resident spirit. While we've been stuck indoors, she's called Cleo, and I've seen her once while I've lived here. She's never caused us a problem. We happily live alongside each other, but she does occasionally do all sorts around the house. She's 8 years old, and although sweet, she's more mischievous than my own kids. My son keeps telling me that she comes to visit him and asks him to do cheeky things. He's told me he knows some of the things will make me cross, so he's told her no. I asked what sort of things she wants him to do, and she wants him to move important things. Is the only answer I got. How do I ask her politely to stop trying to get my son in trouble? Yeah, well,
wow.
the problem is, you know, it's how do you reprimand a ghost? They've got far more reign over us now, because they don't have a physical body. We can't necessarily see them. They can get away with all sorts, such as taking objects, as we were talking about before. I
think a son has to be strong, though, doesn't he? You have to speak to your son, you know, about it, and he's got to be strong against whoever he's friends with or who's talking to, and just say no. You know, he's got to be the one that says no, because like Paul just said, you can't apprehend a ghost. So, you know, it's I think it's your son that you need to talk to, and if he is asking him to do anything, then he needs to say no. Yeah,
definitely the best route to go there, I think, is just to guide him in the right direction, and don't let this young Cleo influence him.
Definitely.
Because good chance you're automatically going to think whatever's happened, it's him. And she's just going to happily put the blame onto him.
I know kids can be kids at the end of the day, and I know kids get into trouble and they, you know, mischievous, but, you know, please speak to your son about it, and then he needs to say no.
I'm to go now, you guys. Great to chat, and hope to meet up soon in the Hare and Hounds. Take care, Lee. Hopefully catch up with you soon.
See you soon.
Come and have a look at that gorgeous view you've got at Kinder.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
How have you faced your fear? How to
How do you face your fears?
And stay with the investigation. Do you want to do that one because you're newly feared, aren't you? Your fear came 5 years ago. Mine's longer.
Yeah, how do I face my fears?
Vodka.
No. The thing is I want to see. I'm not scared of seeing anything. I have actually seen things. I've seen things that's non-human. Myself and Paul investigated a place in a mill, and Paul was at one side of the room, sat down. I was at another. I mean, it was some big room, pitch black, and it had like sheets and blankets up, and something run from one side of the room in and out of the curtain, but it looked like its legs were backwards and it was hunched over.
It was a comical kind of run. Had its hands like...
Yeah, it was like it's sort of a hobbit type.
Yeah, well, it was short, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very short, and I never said anything, Paul never said anything, because obviously we weren't together, each was at each side of the room. And then when we come together, I said to him, oh, you wouldn't believe it. And we both said it together, you wouldn't believe what I've just seen. We both described to each other the same thing that we'd seen. It was black, and it was hunched up, and it looks like its legs were behind itself, and it was sort of like...
A bit like a goat's legs, wasn't it? The way they...
Yeah.
Instead of the knees bending forward, they bent backwards.
It was sort of like hopping, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it was a comical kind of 1930s, sort of like he's sneaking.
Yeah.
But
its hands were sort of like
a T-Rex kind of thing, wasn't it? Yeah,
but its legs, what distinct me, its legs were bent, and its legs were like at the back of itself, like goat, like you say, goat's legs. Very strange, but yeah.
The beauty of that one though, as well, is in that particular room, we did capture an EVP on the very first time.
We did, yeah.
And it was something that said the camera was in lock off, everybody's in shot, and it just says why. Why, but with really sort of gravelly, throaty.
Yeah.
And it was 18 months after that voice was captured that we saw this figure, and I think that the voice belonged to that.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, so I'm not scared. There is things, if I'm going down the stairs or I'm walking past something, and I do jump. Yeah, like everybody, natural instincts is to jump, but bring it on. I love it.
And I when I first started, I investigated Artro, and there was one building there, still is apparently, called the morgue, and it was used during the Second World War as a morgue. Mm-hmm. Something in there, very, very weird, very creepy, and a couple of times I had to go in there on my own, and I soon realised that I wasn't afraid and I wasn't alone. So now there's not many places that make me twitch. I hate to tell you that, but...
Christine, I'm missing my grandkids as well, and my sons.
Just to let everybody know, the fridge has been sold now. We are all out of fridges. Mm. We have demons in our house and don't know what to do. Oh, wow. That's interesting. Can you tell us a bit more, Yvonne? I'd like to hear a bit more about that. The gent in the glasses is a great ventriloquist. The puppet talks without the ventriloquist moving their mouth. You might be on the wrong page there, love.
Yeah.
We'll just say that Madeley Court in Ironbridge is an amazing venue to try, especially the Gatehouse.
Oh.
Okay, we'll have a chat about that, Lee. You can tell me more when we meet. Don't be stupid. Just trying to go on. There you go. Wasn't much more to it. I don't know why I even bothered with that. Can you do that one? Just trying to get to some more relevant stuff. When all this madness is over, ever thought about going to the Piermaster's house on the docks in Liverpool? My daughter used to wave and smile at someone in the kitchen.
Oh, wow.
I saw that comment earlier on, Joanne. And I think Sean said he's been trying to find out who to talk to about that. So yes, definitely like to do it.
If you have any information on it, Joanne, is there any chance you can bob it over to us?
please.
That'd be great.
I think that's when we talked about the vodka.
Oh,
Whiskey Paul, Craig, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, JD.
Martin, JD.
Oh, JD and Coke. Please.
Yeah. I face my fears with whiskey, good man. Just getting the to the relevant stuff.
Oh, Nikki Walker.
Yeah, thanks,
Thank you, Nikki. Hi, Ian.
Flecky. How are you, mate? You okay? Good to see you. Well, I see your name anyway, I can't see you.
No.
Just trying to get to the interesting stuff and skip past.
Thank you.
Skip past the ones coming from that lonely village. Oh dear. That's interesting. That. Oh, do you know? I'm trying to find something intelligent here, guys, and no offence to the people that have been talking to us, but
really?
There are less than intelligent remarks on here tonight. Go on. Just trying to get that to expand. There we go. Thank you, Wendy. Appreciate that. Thanks, Nikki.
Hi, Andy.
Yeah. Hi, Andy. Yeah, so we'll ignore that. Right, just couple of pieces of equipment that I was going to talk to you about last week. I kind of ran out of time about it, but some of the stuff that we use and some of the bits that are my favourite, this is one of them.
Thanks, Lee.
Hey, Lee, thank you. Danny, no, ignore. This is called the Paranormal Puck 2, if you can see that. It's back to front, I apologise, but it is the Paranormal Puck. So this has got quite a few different settings on it, but it's also has an app that you can use which connects to it, and then you can type out questions and get responses. And used it a few times and had some really quite interesting results from it. Going to obviously be using it more in the future. Can you give a shout out to my auntie and uncle? Oh, do you know?
Apart from ghost diamonds, do you do anything else for a living?
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, just reading some of these comments and
just,
trying to find the ones that have got a serious question there, but
the lady boy.
Do you know, there's some sick people about.
Isn't there? I don't know.
So there was a question the other night asking about do we have any new experiments coming up or new pieces of equipment, and I have something here which I have not put it into test into the field yet, so it's you know so it's not had an outing yet. I'm going to show you what it does. So this is a shadow array, I think they're calling it, or a shadow detector. I've got something that's a proper shadow detector, but the way it works is if you pass the sensors it will light up, and this has got several different settings. Now I've got to say this isn't anything new, it's just new to the paranormal field. I saw this kind of tech about 6-7 years ago. I saw it on YouTube.
To the loo.
You go. She's off to the loo again.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Honestly,
I won't be a minute.
Can you believe it?
Hey, the girl's got to go. She's got to go.
Bring us some popcorn back.
Popcorn? What, from the loo?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Can the shadow sensors be installed in the fridge door? Mate, you can put whatever you want in a fridge door. Yeah, I saw this piece of kit quite a few years ago on YouTube. A guy in the States was building, I think they were 12 inches square, and he made a huge bunch that clipped together and waved his hand over. They all lit up and went out, and the sensors were absolutely fantastic. So it's not a new piece of kit. Unfortunately, I was hoping that we would have had something like this on the show a couple of years ago, but I couldn't find anybody that could build it. So I've only just managed to get my hands on one recently, but it's already out there now on a couple of paranormal shows. So you know, it's not new, but it's new to us. We're going to go see what happens. Should be good, hopefully. So we'll just have to wait and see. So I'm not sure if there's any more questions. Not seeing anything worth answering anyway. Of all the new gadgets. Thanks, Nikki. I'm always coming up with something new. Hiya, Paul. How are you, mate? So I'll just see. The voice recorder is brilliant. I used it last night and got 2 voice in the setting. They're so easy. Brilliant. I'm glad you like it, Lee. It's a good piece of kit, that. I usually only use Olympus voice recorders, but I saw that and thought, yeah, got hold of a couple and gave them a go, and I do like them. Very sturdy as well, built for built to last. So yeah, thank you. So anyway, I think we're all done with questions.
Yep.
Because they don't seem to understand that there are no fridges on here. Could you say hello to my partner, Angela Hibbert?
Hi,
hello,
Angela.
How are you?
Crazy.
Right, guys. Anyway, thank you ever so much for tuning in. And why is there never any black ghosts? Who said there isn't? Who says there isn't?
No.
So thank you ever so much. I'm sure Sean will be putting something on again tomorrow for Unseen, so make sure you tune in for that. Thanks ever so much for listening. Why don't you use apps? Yes or no? I've used a few. Not a big fan. The Alice Box is one that I have used, and that's pretty good. But the only sort of app I use is the one that works with the Puck 2, and that's been pretty good. Had some pretty intelligent responses from that. So there you go. Right, guys, we're going to leave it at that. Thank you ever so much for tuning in. Been an absolute pleasure. Don't worry about it, Lee. What can you expect when there's so many villagers missing them right now? So thanks, Craig. I shall. I've never seen a black ghost, to be fair. Have you ever seen a white one, Cameron? So we'll catch you again sometime. You take it all easy, stay safe, and once again, thank you to our frontline workers, NHS doctors, porters, shop workers, everybody that's keeping us going. Stay in, stay safe, keep us all alive, and we'll get through this a lot quicker.
We will. Stay safe, guys. Take care.
Bye guys. Thank you. Thanks, Vari. Bye-bye.